it is that he could do in their lives. And so I decided, you know what? I'm gonna give this a shot. I'm gonna give this a shot. I'm gonna try it. And if it's not for me, I'll get out. I was like, I'd rather go in and know that I tried and not have the idea of, I could have entered seminary. I could have been a priest. And so yeah, I entered right after high school. And one of the things that I loved in seminary was that I started living the life of a priest. I started having one more mindset of prayer. I started going to daily mass. I'd go to holy hour every day. And it was in that holy hour where I got that confirmation because I was really able to every day spend time with Jesus and just say, Jesus, here's my day. Here's what's going on. And it would have been easy. I always tell people, if it wasn't for holy hour every day, I would have left seminary because there were so many times that I went to that chapel that I was like, Jesus, I can't life anymore. I'm tired. I don't want to do this. I don't want to study. I don't like the people I'm living with. Like, what am I doing here? But it was there that me being able to speak and say all that stuff, that I was able to let it out and then let Jesus comfort me. And so the more that I got comforted by Jesus was the more that I was like, you know what, this is for me. I feel at peace. I feel at home. Despite everything that's going on, I feel secure when I'm with you. And I feel secure in thinking about the priesthood. And so, yeah, priesthood was just something that for me really stuck out from the beginning. Because, being a priest is very special, very important because the priest is there since the beginning of your life until the end of your life. When you go into the church at a very young age to be baptized, the priest is there to offer the sacrament of baptism, make you a daughter of God. As you're going along through your journey, you get to do your first communion. The priest is there giving you Jesus for you so that you could be nourished, so that you could receive him and you could receive the love of God. He goes through there with your confirmation. The bishop comes, he anoints you with to reanoint you with the power of the Holy Spirit to give you that gift to go out, right? And then throughout your life, he's there assisting you. And all the way to the end of our life, the priest is there to celebrate our funeral mass. So the priest is there from the beginning towards the end. And thinking about that made me say, you know what? I want to be part of people's life from the beginning all the way to the end too. And so that really has been an amazing journey. I'm going into my 5th year now in seminary. And it's been awesome. It hasn't been easy. It has not been easy, but it's been worth it. With everything, just like in marriage, like we all have our problems, we all have our struggles. But being there with the love of God, being there, being able to really commit and say, Jesus, I trust in you, is what helps us to continue and moving forward. And so for me, it's just kind of an invitation for you to think about what it is that God can call you to be. I thought about my gifts, and that made me think about where it would be more fruitful. And for me, it was peaceful. And so it's very important for us to think, what is God calling us to do? What does he want us to be? Because remember, he's the one that created us, and he's the one that knows what he wants of us. He's the one that knows where he wants us to go. He's the one that knows what was our purpose for. And so when we start asking him those questions, I think it's a great opportunity for us to start having a conversation with him and just kind of be able to start that conversation and find out where it is that he's calling us to. So I invite you today to maybe when you're here with adoration, ask God that question. What do you want from me? What are you calling me? What did you make me for? As a way to start a conversation and just kind of get to know more about yourself, get to know more about God's purpose for your life.
That was very nice. So, like, as for me, my name is Johnny Bautista. I'm 33 years old, and I grew up mostly in the city of Bell. But St. Rosa Lima has always been my parish since I was 8 years old. Right here, I did my confirmation when I was 18. But I have like 2 months barely in the seminary. Did my first weekend home. So all of this is on you for me. But like to start with my whole vocation story. Um, so I came from a broken family. My father, he was an alcoholic. And so I always grew up feeling like, low self-esteem, embarrassed of my father's shame. But throughout my whole life, my mom, my grandma, always faithful to the faith, always going to church, always praying. And so that kind of like inspired me to keep on going to church every Sunday. But I was like catechized, but I wasn't like didn't know much about the faith. But like when I became a teenager, that's when I started to like rebel. of that resentment towards my own father and for growing up and being poor and everything. So I got into like punk rock, I got into metal, and I started to like grow my hair long, wear like tight jeans, Doc Marten boots, punk patches, everything. And so, a lot of like profanities, trying to be rebellious. But because I always wanted to belong to a group, I always wanted that brotherhood. I always wanted to feel like accepted. But like, being with the wrong crowd, it's always leading you to like vices, like drugs, alcohol, weed, being promiscuous and all that stuff. So as an act of rebellion, I live a life of, of vices. And so when I was like around 18, 19 years old, after I got confirmed, I started to experience like anxiety, depression. And so my mom, she introduced me the book, the biography of Saint Francis of Assisi. So I read it in Spanish. And at the end of the book, I just started to cry. And normally I don't like to cry, but naturally I just started to cry. And I was like, what's going on? And so I told my mom, like, why am I crying? And she's like, Mijo, es el Espíritu Santo. And I was like, okay, whatever that means, but I trust you. but but out of that experience, my first instinct was the first word that came out of my mouth, I should say, was I want to become a priest. And Saint Francis of Assisi, he was never a priest, he was a deacon. And so for me to say I want to become a priest, that was like a shock because I was like, no, I'm supposed to be punk rock, rebelling against the system, but to be a priest, that's unthinkable. But the problem was that I didn't know who to turn to. I didn't know who to talk about the priesthood. And so you guys are blessed to have, like, for example, Emmanuel Day promoting, vocation, promoting the faith for the young people. Because for me growing up, there was no such thing as that. So little by little, like I started to develop like a prayer life, but I was still kind of like unguided. I was like a lost sheep. And so I started college and I started dating. And some of these girls that I dated were not, they were not Catholic. So their ideas kind of influenced me to walk away from the faith. And so unfortunately, I was away from the faith for like 10 years. And so, but within those 10 years, people will always come to me. And I feel like it was God speaking to me, whether it was like those Jehovah's Witnesses, Mormons, or those Protestants at the street. But then around when I was like 26, 27 years old, uh, I went to like a period of like rock bottom. The girlfriend I was dating, she didn't want to be with me anymore because I was just like a mess, out of control. And she didn't want to be with me, so she left. And so from there, I started to like read the Bible again. And so when I started reading the Bible, I came to this passage from First Corinthians chapter 9. I don't know the verse exactly, but that's where St. Paul's he gives like a list of people who are not going to heaven. So it says like the drunkards, the fornicators, the extortioners, the murderers, all that stuff. And then I was just like, wow, that's speaking to me. So that was like St. Paul, like a slap on my face. And so I was like, I gotta take this faith seriously. And so from there, I became catechized, learning about the faith, going on confession before receiving Holy Communion, being in the state of grace. And so then those feelings came back again about the priesthood. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to bargain with you, God. So help me find a proper Catholic woman, get married, have kids. And then one of my sons can become a priest. But it didn't happen. I did like a lot of novenas and pray to St. Joseph, to St. Teresa of Lisieux. But then I made another bargain with God. And God, well, if I do get married, I'll become a priest if my wife dies first. But something in my heart would tell me, why not you, Johnny? Why not you? Why don't you become that priest? And I was scared. I was like, no, I don't want to. It's scary, you know. Who to go and ask about, hey, I want to be a priest. But little by little, I was praying to God, going to holy hour, and then I took that courage. You know what? I'm gonna do it. So I contacted the Office for Vocations at the Archdiocese of LA and sent an email, and I waited like for 2 weeks, and I felt like I made a mistake. I'm getting no answer, but after 2 weeks, I got a response, and so it was the vocation director, Johnny. You want to have a phone interview? All right, and they invited me to the discernments at the cathedral once a month. And I just felt like, God, I'll just go, but I doubt I'm gonna get accepted. I doubt I'm be the right person for the priesthood. But the vocation director told me, Johnny, here's the application. We see something in you. And I filled out the application, went to the interview. It was like intensive, but it was it's worth it. So it's just, it's a new experience. And all I could say just waiting for you to like to tell them. So yeah.
That's very powerful. Very good telling.
Man.
It's the first time I heard it personally. I've been living with him now for 2 months.
And it's interesting because like on Thursday after mass, right?
Yeah.
He asked me, hey, what's the name of your parish? I'm like San Rosa Lima. And he's, oh well, I got invited to go to that parish for the Bible Day. And I was like, oh well, I guess it's appropriate for me to like be here since I'm representing this parish. So here I am, this is on duty for me. So hopefully I can learn more from Caesar, interacting with all the people and everything like that.
Awesome. Awesome. I think Johnny said was very good towards the end of what he said about holiness, you know. And so, you know, we're at the end of the day, we're all called to be holy people, you know. And like he said, we're all going to have our faults, and you can see from both of our stories. Uh, God calls us, He prepares us, He gives us different battles. But at the end of the day, we're all called to that one mission, you know, to live a better life, to live a holy life. And you could tell that both of us were seeking happiness. We were seeking something good. We wanted to find a purpose. And you know, at the end of the day, I think that's what all of us want to do. At the end of the day, we all want to seek a happiness. We all want to seek a good life. We all want to get like the misery that we have and just let it out. You know? And so you could see that God calls through different scenarios. God lets us go through different problems. But at the end of the day, He's always there. And it's when we start seeking and going back to Him that we start finding out more about ourselves. And so, like you said, just give him that chance, speak to him today, and I guarantee you that you'll come out different today. You'll come out with something new, and you'll come out feeling better and wanting to do more things. Saint Catherine of Siena said, "Be who God created you to be, and you will set the world on fire." So, right, let's find that. Let's look for that, and I encourage you to please continue praying for us. Pray for Johnny, who's a seminarian here at your parish. And so I'm sure you guys will be seeing him a lot more often. Talk to him, ask him asking how seminary is going. It's really nice for parents to have a seminary and just kind of journey with him in the years that he has. So it's awesome. It's something awesome. And once again, thank you to Emmanuel Day for having us here.
Thank you so much. And just know that I'm always praying every day for this parish and from Lima, for all you guys. You guys are always in my prayer. And so it's like all the time. So I'm always praying for you guys so this community could like grow and bear fruits and maybe see one day like a lot of vocations, whether the married life, the religious life, or the priesthood. So thank you so much for this invitation. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Are there any questions for Mr. Johnny? Questions from our guests? Any questions? No?
Don't be shy.
Don't be shy.
I'm like an open book, so I have nothing to hide.
Not every day that you have to suddenly fix your face in front of you.
Yeah. This is
Do you guys still have hobbies by any chance? Like, and if you do, what are the hobbies that you do? You've committed your life completely to God. So what do you guys do outside?
So for a while, I was growing potatoes from like those 5-gallon buckets from Home Depot, and I grew some like 2 plants of potatoes, and it was beautiful because they remind me like the Bible, bearing fruits, and so I don't know, never thought I'd get into planting. So whenever I got time, I grew potatoes.
I can't beat that.
What is the right time to for your vacation?
Yeah, the right time is now. You know, the right time is when you start making that effort to start discerning and thinking about your vocation. You know, and I think the sooner you start asking God that question, the sooner He could start talking with you. You know, because He's God's the gentleman. He's waiting there for us just to come and talk to Him so He can share with us what He wants for us. You know, but it's us that need to take that step to say, you know what, God, I want to talk to you. I want you to show me what you have. And so the right time is really when you start feeling that necessity to be like, I need to know what I want to do. I need to know, or I'm tired of this life that I'm living, and here it is, God. So the right time is actually usually it varies for all of us, but it's good to start asking God that question as soon as we can.
What's the difference between a vacation and a career? Because I know some of them are trying to get out of high school, and that's a very important question, right? The vocation and the career.
So everyone has a vocation. So whether for some it's the priesthood, the religious life, which is like like the religious sisters, religious brothers, monastery, or you got like the married life, that is a vocation, and also like the consecrated single life. So there's some people that they consecrate themselves as consecrated virgins. So everyone has a vocation, all of us, and that vocation is going to lead us to become holy, to become saints. But as a career, that's more like you could say like your job on this world, how to make that money, make that income to support yourself or your families.
So we can have both of them, right?
Yes, you can. You can have both of them.
Any more questions? Yes?
Yeah. So we start off our day with morning prayer, mass, and
Breakfast.
breakfast.
Then
We're not there really down praying 24/7. You know?
we pray the liturgy of the hours in the morning, and then mass, then breakfast, and then we have like our classes, and then we have lunch at like around noon, right?
Yeah.
And then we have work orders, right? So we gotta like clean,
The chores.
scrub toilets, or dust the chapel, or like just clean the kitchen, right? And then we have like after that like free time, to like study, hobbies, exercise, or laundry. And then like around 5, holy hour. And after holy hour, we have like evening prayer, the liturgy of the hours. And then we have dinner. And then after dinner, it's free time for homework, any activities. And we gotta be like quiet around 10 p.m., right?
Quiet, quiet. Yeah, quiet. Yeah, that's kind of our schedule. And then we still get to do things like sometimes weekends, some go for hikes or play sports, do that at the seminary or hang out with friends, go to events like this. I think that's one of the beauty of being in seminary, going to events like this and just kind of minister. And then they let us out once a month to come back to our home parishes. And so just kind of be here with our family, be here at our parish. So that's always good.
One more. What was your biggest surprise or shock between today or the trip? When you left the house?
Wow. It's just being here, like everything's like fast, quick, very chaotic. But being at the seminary, I feel like home, like there's peace, like I'm present. And so, I used to work the night shift, so everything's like quick, everything's like self-centered. I gotta make the money, I gotta go up. But being the seminary is more about, it's not about me, but it's about being with the community, trying to get along with everyone. And it's like we're on the same team. We gotta help each other to like move forward, God willing to become priests. So for me, it's been kind of like a transformation. So now I'm more focused on like helping others. Now I'm more intentional when I'm with talking to others, when I'm listening, or whatever I'm doing, like helping out people who are in great need.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
No more questions?
All right, let's give it up for. To share your story of how you've been called.